welcome back to another one of those videos where I steal your recipe ideas. I love this series. I think this is the third time I'm doing this. I will link part 1 and 2 down below. There's not really a plot to this. It's okay if you watch them out of order. Thanks to all the people commenting and participating in this. I really appreciate it. And I also go back to the older videos and I look through the comment sections again. Today's vegan snack ideas are quite something. They're all more, not all of them, but most of them are more on the treat side of things. You know, last time we did healthy. Today's gonna be a little bit more indulgent, but that's okay. You know, I think we all deserve a treat, especially this year. So, without further ado, let's get into this. First things first, I think we have to address the Oreos dipped in hummus situation. When this idea was suggested to me last time, it sounded absolutely wild to me, but then some people in the comments argued this could also be interpreted as sweet hummus. So for idea number 1, we're going to be making some chocolate hummus to dip our Oreos into. Grab a food processor. Instead of chickpeas, I went for white beans. Blend those up for like 30 seconds to a minute to break them up a little bit. White beans are a lot more mild and less flavorful than chickpeas. And you know, the goal is for us not to be able to taste any bean. I'd also very much recommend the small white ones. But just make sure you don't pick the ones with tomato sauce. Then add all the other ingredients. Oats, unsweetened baking cacao, salt, vanilla, maple syrup or any other liquid sweetener of choice, raw sugar or coconut sugar, and melted vegan butter or melted coconut oil. I'm not sure we can call this hummus anymore, but whatever it is addictive. It's more like chocolate cake batter, and you don't even need the Oreos. Dip fruit into it, add some of it on top of your smoothie bowl or yogurt bowl, or eat it straight away with a spoon. Here we have a suggestion for broccoli and peanut butter. Love these two foods individually, so can't be that bad together, right? I cut a head of broccoli into florets, added the florets to a medium-sized pot, along with like 1/3 of a cup of water. I brought this to high first, then let it simmer/steam on medium with the lid on for about 5 minutes. My parents only had the quote-unquote unnatural peanut butter at home, the one that comes with added oils and sugar and salt and stuff, so I had to warm it up here to get this shot, but yeah, what a tasty combination. I would recommend. For this third idea, I'm using a recipe I found in my DMs. It looked like the most simple lentil meatball recipe ever. Add a can of brown lentils to a large mixing bowl. Add a bit of non-dairy milk, like 2 splashes. Then all your spices. I've got fry seasoning, different dried herbs, and this tagine spice mix. I also added frozen parsley and soy sauce, because I couldn't find any vegan Worcestershire sauce. Maybe an organic store would have that. Mash it all up using a fork, and then add your breadcrumbs. I made my own here by blending up 4 pieces of very hard spelt toast. Add about a cup of that to the lentils. Combine everything. It's easiest to do that with your hands. Then taste test and adjust any flavors if needed. Mix it up until you're able to easily form the little fake meatballs out of it. Bring a pan with some oil to medium-high. Once hot, add the lentil bites and cook them for about 6 to 8 minutes, making sure to mix them around frequently so all the sides get cooked. Serve these with marinara sauce, vegan cream cheese, whatever you like. Mary Bell from the DM had suggested some warm and spicy blueberry sauce. So that could be an option. But yeah, love this idea, and my mom did too. Up next, we have these little cheesy potato bites. The idea comes from Christina. So creating little potato bites out of pre-made potato dumpling mix. I'm not sure if that's something everybody can get a hold of. It might be a very German thing. Basically, this is finely grated potato, salt, and then a bunch of ominous stabilizing additives. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you have an equivalent to that in your country. Preheat the oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Line a baking sheet with parchment paper, and then shape these into whatever shape you want. To about half of these, I'd also added some vegan pizza cheese. I just eyeballed the ratio here. Also, feel free to add some additional spices. These are so good. I'm sure there's so much more you can do with these, like so many different variations, adding maybe some vegetables. I'll definitely revisit this at some point. I love this little avocado garlic toast hack. Cut a clove of garlic in half and then rub that onto the toast. Then add some mashed avocado, some tomato slices, sprouts, and if you want, some balsamic glaze. This next one is also incredibly simple. I made these little frozen peanut butter bites inspired by this comment. All I had to work with was, once again, the more processed kind of peanut butter, so adding coconut oil and sweetener was not necessary for me. Leave that jar of crunchy peanut butter in the fridge for a couple hours. That makes it easier to shape later. Melt down some dark chocolate, whichever way you want to go about it. Also add a teaspoon of coconut oil. Place little spoonfuls of peanut butter onto a plate or baking sheet lined with parchment paper. You can also roll these into balls with your hands. That will certainly be a mess though. Either pour the chocolate over the bites, or if you want all sides to be covered, add them each individually to the bowl. Put these in the freezer and let them be in there for at least 1 hour, and then you can transfer them to a Tupperware box and keep them in the freezer for, I don't know, weeks, I'm guessing. This is such a satisfying treat. Moving on to this last and final snack idea, these are the cheesy vegan pinwheels I had posted on my story recently. Some of you guys wanted the recipe, so here it is. Step number 1, make your vegan cheese sauce. I'm sure you guys are sick of me using that in recipes, but it just works so well. Add 1.5 tablespoons of vegan butter to a small saucepan. Bring the heat to medium-high, let it melt, let it sizzle. Add 1.5 tablespoons of cornstarch. Mix it in vigorously. Then add some non-dairy milk. Let it all simmer for about 5 minutes while stirring frequently until it thickens up like so. Then add 2 handfuls of vegan pizza cheese, salt, and white wine vinegar. Take it off the heat and let it cool down a bit for like 10 minutes. In the meantime, preheat your oven to 200 degrees Celsius. Roll out a sheet of puff pastry and add the cheese sauce. But Mina, why don't you just use vegan cheese? Good question. You can do that as well, totally. I just have found that the outcome is much better with this sauce. We also happen to have some vegan parmesan at home, so I added some of that as well. If you want, you can make your own here. I have a recipe for cashew parmesan that I will link in the description. Bake those until golden brown. Takes around 17 to 20 minutes. And yeah, that's it. This really tastes very, very similar to those cheesy baked goods you'd get at like a little bakery. And that's it for today. I hope you guys had fun watching. I'm definitely gonna be making a part 4 at some point, so feel free to leave your lazy vegan snack idea in the comments. I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye!
She gon' clap back, talking about the money I be making for my SK. I said, don't ask question, baby girl. She said she passed that. She said she wanna be